Good afternoon, Dr. Muhammad Ali from Dinner Standard. Today I will speak about halal food in the global halal industry. Just to share with you some thoughts about Dinner Standard. Dinner Standard is a specialized growth strategy research and advisory. We are doing predictive analytics firm, empowering organization for profitable and responsible global impact. Its current focus areas are halal, ethical economies, government innovation, and social impact investments. Through its research and advisory services, Dinner Standard experts help companies shape their growth strategy. We deliver investment strategy, meaningful customer insights, actionable market expansion plans, and big thinking innovation. Currently, clients of Dinner Standard includes private equity firms, sovereign wealth funds, government agencies, global and regional corporates, and global multilateral organizations, as well as social enterprises. The current geographic footprint of Dinner Standard is in US, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Turkey, Malaysia, Nigeria, and our main sector focus is financial services, government policy, food industry, travel, and technology. In Dinner Standard, we are publishing every year what we call the Global Islamic Economy Report. The annual report, Global State of the Islamic Economy Report, was introduced in 2013, and this report defines the Islamic economy, or we can say it as well, halal economy, as sectors whose main products or services are structurally affected by Islamic ethics and law. So the motivation of the ethical consumer needs inspired by the faith of the 1.9 billion Muslims consumers worldwide. And the most recent report Dinner Standard published is the 2020-2021 Global Islamic Economy Report that was published in last November 2020. To give a big scope of and landscape of the global Islamic economy, let's focus on some numbers. The Islamic economy represented by 2.2 trillion of consumer spending by 1.9 billion Muslims across 6 real economy sectors. These 6 real economy sectors are food, Islamic finance, media recreation, modest fashion, Muslim-friendly travel, pharma, and cosmetics. If we see inside of each of these sectors, we observed that Islamic finance assets it represents around 2.800 trillion US dollar. The halal food represents 1.17 trillion. The media recreation 222 billion. Modest fashion 277 billion. The Muslim-friendly travel 194 billion. Pharma 94 billion, and cosmetics 66 billion. In all this landscape of Islamic economy, we have observed as well a trend in investing in these economies and these sectors. Mainly the food sector attract 51.9% of the whole investment, 11.8 billion. investment in 2019 and 2020. It was less in terms of growth year over year, but definitely it's the most attractive investment areas. The OIC countries, which is Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which is gathering 57 countries around the world, has a structure of Islamic economy or halal economy around many areas. Okay, if we see the food industry itself, it can be a key catalyst of the economy is prosperity and development. We observed in Dinner Standard that the most important exporter to OIC countries are India, USA, Brazil, France, and Russia. And the most importer countries from the Islamic countries are Saudi Arabia, UAE, Indonesia, and Malaysia, and Turkey as well. So we have the most important countries worldwide which are exporting, who are exporting to the OIC countries are in Europe and in America, while the most important countries are in Asia and Middle East. If we see the halal food, we have 200 billion of food and beverages exports to OIC countries. These 200 billions are goes mainly to Nigeria, to Egypt, to Pakistan, to Bangladesh, and to Indonesia. These are the biggest countries in terms of imports as well, and the most important exporter to these countries are USA, Brazil, Argentina, India. We can add to this France, Australia, New Zealand as well. As I mentioned before, there was 11.8 billion investment in the halal industry. 6.11 billion went to the halal food industry. Indonesia have attracted around 2.9 billion of these investments, which is mainly acquisition of Indomie noodles MENA market manufacturer. The main deals in terms of countries, Malaysia have 16 deals, Indonesia 10, and UAE 8, then other 27. So if we see in terms of signal of opportunity, we will, before that, let's analyze the COVID-19 impact. We observed that projected 5 years CAGR of 3.5 from 2019 to 2024, reaching 1.38 trillion. And the impact of this pandemic on the food industry, in white here, we have all products, and here we have the food. So the food was not that much impacted, as we will see in the next slide. Here we saw the global impact of the COVID-19. So the food, in terms of growth, during the COVID-19, there was a decrease of -0.2, while in 2021, we will observe 5.8 growth, then 3.7 till 2024, 4.1, which gives us a CAGR of 3.5% growth during these next 5 years. The global opportunity in the halal industry, and mainly in food, we have here the most important in terms of domestic spend, halal certified product. We see here Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, 41%, UAE, it's around 61%, Indonesia, 8%, Turkey, 12%, and Malaysia, 34%. If we see geographically, the segmentation of agriculture value added by OIC in 2017 in US dollar, we see that the most important country was Indonesia, with 133 billion of value added product. Turkey comes into second position with 51 billion, and next is Malaysia, 27 billion. If we see the fifth OIC imports percentage of total OIC, we find that KSA, it's importing 10% of the total imports to OIC, then UAE, Indonesia, Turkey, and Malaysia. In terms of which country is the most active in this area, our analysis shows that UAE is the top 20 largest exporter of halal certified product to OIC countries. As we see here, these are the exports to OIC countries. Okay. Indonesia, 3.2, but mainly, as I said before, USA, India, France, Russia, Argentina, Germany, they are the most important countries in terms of exports to the OIC countries. When we come to the COVID-19 pandemic, we observed that the result expected is to have 8% decreasing in terms of spending cut in 2020. The most important and the most hit sector by the COVID-19 was the travel sector, as you see here, minus 70%. Okay, the food was, as I said, minus 0.2%. So this will last for maybe 3 to 5 years to recover for the other sectors, but the food sector, we expect that it's already recovering. 21, 22, it will be coming back to normal. In terms of signal of opportunities, our report shows that the most important signals of opportunity which was observed during 2019, 2020, is that for the whole Islamic economy, we observed that the banks are more in digitalization. The sukuk, which is in finance, which is mostly becoming tokenization. The domestic tourism boost. But mainly for the food sector, if we speak about the development and the opportunities, we will see the most important is in the supply chain. We observe the global shift now from a global supply chain to a regional supply chain to a local supply chain. This is first. Second, in terms of F&B outlets, we observed that many of these restaurants, they closed, but parallel, there was many halal cloud kitchen opened which will serve all these F&Bs. And this is a very big trend in the F&B industry. A major concern as well is the food security. And we observed that a lot of governments, especially in the MENA region and in Asia, are looking to tackle this problem by putting strategy for their food security. And DINA Standard have been very, very dynamic and very active to put strategy for some of these countries. The signal of opportunities here, we see, as I said, the focus on food security, the blockchain enabling traceability, Internet of Things, and all this is linked to the strict halal regulation request from many countries. And as I said, a global supply chain, emerging halal supply chain as well. If we want to deep dive into the halal food processing, the halal industry globally, I've prepared some slides which showed us how the food industry is managed when it comes to halal. Halal is a set of method. Food processing, in generally, it's a method of and techniques used to transform raw ingredients into food, or to transform food into other forms for consumption by human or animal, either at home or by the food industry. This is the general scope of the food transformation, food processing. When it comes to halal, we understand that halal food means food fit for human consumption and permitted by laws of Islam and Sharia. And this is, we say, this is permissible and lawful. The food or its ingredient do not contain any parts or products of animals that are non-halal, or products of animal which are not slaughtered according to laws of Islam. This is a general overview of what's halal food processing. In the food processing, we aim to have a safe and secure food product. We aim to improve the safety and the freshness of the product. We aim as well to improve and control the functionality, the food constituent, increase the storage shelf life of food product. We have as well to isolate the specific compound and the hazardous compounds. We have to look after the development of traditional and innovative products. And also, we need to improve and maintain the nutritional values of the products. And last, we need to keep quality and originality of food. Okay. We can add many other goals of the food processing in the global food industry. What's required for the halal food processing? When we speak about halal food processing, we speak about raw material transformed in a final product. So the ingredient must be from halal source. The processing must be checked and certified according to Islamic rules and regulation. The final composition must be checked as well. Is there any involvement with alcoholic during the processing? The final composition alcoholic ingredient must not exceed that the permissible limits. You know that in some cases, the alcoholic ingredient can be at a very low level, which is permissible by the law. The packaging material should not contain any haram or any non-halal ingredient. Cross-contamination must be avoided. For example, if you want to transport or to manufacture meat in a slaughterhouse where there is as well the slaughtering of, for example, let's say pig, or and beef or lamb in the same slaughter house. So we need to avoid this contamination. There is a process and cleaning process about this. Equipment must be washed with permissible detergent as well. When we speak about halal market, we have now halal market is very wide market because it's not limited to Muslim countries. Even in Europe or US or otherwise in China, people are looking for halal products because they think it's more trustful, it's more hygienically produced, it's safely in terms of contamination and so on. So halal market is in halal ethnic and specialty stores. For example, in the Western countries, there is a lot of halal stores. It can be as well in supermarkets chain. In food service, we speak about schools, university, hospitals, offices, airlines, and so on. And these are a very good opportunity for the companies that they want to shift or to produce halal products for this market. Last, I need to talk about the challenges of the halal food industry. When we speak about halal industry globally and generally speaking, we have a consumer need and we have product and services, and we have an ecosystem, policies, regulation, and operation, and we have the financial part. So these are the four pillars of the food industry and other industries as well, I think. So in terms of consumer needs, people want halal food clean label, which gives them a trust that this product is halal certified and it's halal produced. The environmentally friendly halal food, as I said, this is a need from all consumers, even the non-Muslim consumers, they are looking for environmentally friendly halal products. The halal protein-based food, now it's a trend, which is the plant-based and the cell meat-based, for example. So consumer needs a halal certified products on this category of products. When we speak about product and services, companies, they have to, for example, a new offering for the halal baby food, ready to eat or frozen food, a private label or contract manufacturing. They need to give regional flavor to the consumers. Halal drink, it should be in a way that produced with the Islamic law. And we know that the drinks and the non-alcoholic drinks is a very dynamic sector, especially in OIC countries. Lack of halal food additives and ingredients, this a challenge for the industry to find out a new ingredient who are halal certified. And the problem for the industry is there's no unified halal regulation, and this is we will speak about in the policies and ecosystem regulation and operation. There is a lack of unified halal regulation, which means that we have many halal regulation and it depends on each country. And I think many countries now, they are coming together to solve this problem, and maybe it will be sorted out very soon. So if we speak about ecosystem, it's mainly the regulation, the transportation and logistics, which means that the shipping company, that the ports and so on, which needs to comply with the halal regulations in some way. The competition between certifiers, because it's an independent and the private sector, the certifiers are mostly third-party bodies. So there is a competition between them, and this is, we need to, the government and the ecosystem, all stakeholders need to sit together to unify and to have a clear strategy for this. If we speak about financing, which is not related to our topic today, but I have to mention that incentives to SMEs is not there, and there is a lack of Sharia trade finance. All halal product or halal industry, I'm speaking about food mainly, you know that food industry in some countries is considered as a very risky industries, and not many banks, they don't give any facilities to these industries. And I think it's really a very big challenge for the halal food industry to come to the banking system and to ask for support and so on. And banking system should observe that the food industry, the halal food industry, as a dynamic and an enabling to development for the economies. I come to the end of this presentation, and I hope that you enjoyed these informations. And if you need any more about halal industry, please contact us at Dinner Standard. You have all my contacts with Foodeshow. At the end, I have to thank Foodeshow to have given me this opportunity to discuss with you and to present to you some insights from our work at Dinner Standard, which related to halal food industry. And in generally speaking, the halal industry globally. So I'm waiting for your questions and your inquiry about how we can go further in developing this industry globally. I didn't speak about what are the main sectors that industrial and investors should look about mainly to develop to integrate the whole food industry when it comes to halal. We have in Dinner Standard a lot of analysis made on which category of product are very attractive in terms of investment, what are the main markets to have to go for and to try to export to. And in Dinner Standard, we have a rich analysis and database to help companies to come over and especially to be an international actor in the halal food industry. Thank you very much again for Foodeshow to have given me this opportunity to speak about our work, and see you soon. Thank you very much.